Hi everybody, it's Randy Ray, the Literate Texan. I'm here at Driftwood Ranch with a new video. Tonight I'm going to talk a little bit about the daily routine of C.S. Lewis, who is, or was, considered one of the most well-read men on the planet. He read a wide range of things, read a lot for hours and hours, and remembered everything he read. And he was a college professor. He worked with J.R.R. Tolkien, among other things. And I got a book not too long ago called This Reading Life. Or is that what it was called? Let me look. The Reading Life, The Joy of Seeing New Worlds Through Others' Eyes was the name of this book. And it says it's by C.S. Lewis, and most of the words in it are indeed from C.S. Lewis, but they're picked out, they were culled from his entire body of work. The editors went in and found articles by C.S. Lewis or letters or essays where he discussed reading, and they pulled those quotes and put them into a book. And some of it's more interesting than others of it. It's kind of a Frankenstein monster of a book. But I was interested in his daily routine. And a lot of people don't know this about me because I don't talk about it here much. But I'm fascinated by how people live. And I'm fascinated with people who experiment with other people's daily routines, but rarely do I come across a daily routine that applies to me. I read Anthony Trollope's autobiography not too long ago, and of course he wrote for 3 hours before starting his workday as a postman. And I could probably adapt that a little bit because I do some writing. You know, I could even adapt that to spend 3 hours a morning making videos or writing videos instead of just using that as writing time or whatever. But this schedule of C.S. Lewis's that I found really looks like a lifestyle that's comprehensive enough that I could try to live it. And so in June, I am actually trying to follow as closely as I'm capable of C.S. Lewis's lifestyle, which included a lot of reading, of course. And I'm going to get into how much it included in a minute because I'm going to read an excerpt from the book to you. But I will say that I'm ill. I'm chronically ill with some stuff that causes a lot of fatigue. I just don't have as many waking hours in the day as other people do. So I have to set my expectations a little bit lower in terms of what I can accomplish, even when I'm dealing with something like C.S. Lewis's lifestyle. Well, let me get into that for a second though, okay? This says, of course, reading was also one of the supreme pleasures of Lewis's life. I would say that reading is one of the supreme pleasures of my life too, and probably most of my viewers. I hope so anyway. In his memoir, Surprised by Joy, Lewis described his ideal daily routine to be reading and writing from 9 until 1, and again from 5 to 7, with breaks for meals, walking, or tea time. Apart from those 6 hours of study every day, he also enjoyed light reading over meals or in the evening hours. All in all, Lewis's preferred schedule seemed to include 7 or 8 hours of reading per day. For Lewis, reading was both a high calling and an endless source of satisfaction. In fact, his sense of vocation and avocation were virtually indistinguishable whenever he picked up a book, and often when he wrote one. All right, so I'm not a big writer. I do some writing, and it's freelance writing, and a lot of it's really hack stuff that I'm writing for websites. I don't even necessarily put my name to it. So a lot of the hard writing that it talks about C.S. Lewis doing in this article is just not the kind of writing that I do. But okay, so I broke that down. It sounds like it doesn't give you very much information about his schedule, but it really does, okay? So if I know that he writes and reads from 9 a.m. till 1 p.m., okay? That's a 4-hour chunk of the day. That's the first half of the workday. But I also know that, and I've read other articles about his workday or his daily routine. So I know that he had breakfast at 8 a.m. sharp every day. So at 8 a.m., he's having breakfast. And a lot of times over breakfast, he'll enjoy a little light reading while he eats breakfast. And then 9 a.m. to 1 is work. I also know that at 11 a.m., 2 hours into his first work shift, first work block, he had coffee. Ain't nothing wrong with a cup of coffee at 11 a.m., folks, I can promise you. So anyway, you've got breakfast from 8 a.m. until 9. You've got work from 9 a.m. until 1 p.m. From 1 p.m. till 2 p.m., you have lunch. Okay? And that coincides with what I've read in these other autobiographies and articles about C.S. Lewis's daily schedule. So lunch was from 1 p.m. until 2 p.m. And he didn't, he did a little more light reading over lunch. And then that opened up the afternoon to him from 2 p.m. until let's see here, it looks like 5 p.m. So from 2 p.m. till 5 p.m., from what I understand, that's a break for tea time, of course, which, he's not going to do tea time right after lunch because lunch was from 1 till 2. So tea time is going to be at the end of this 2 to 5 p.m. Block. But also he might do some walking. Walking was his preferred form of exercise. And he would also do some more reading during this time period, often light reading, or he would nap. And as my first AA sponsor once told me, and the wisest thing he ever said to me was, ain't nothing wrong with a nap. So more power to you, Mr. Lewis, and to Nathan, my former AA sponsor. So anyway, I'm thinking from 2 p.m. until 4 p.m., we're looking at napping and light reading or going for a walk. And then from 4 p.m. till 5 p.m., we're looking at tea time. I don't participate in tea time. I'm an American. But, I understand it's kind of a light snack. My nutritionist wants me to have a light snack in the afternoon in between lunch and supper. So, and he wants me to include some protein in there. So I try to do that. Forgive me for just a moment. Hey, knock it off. It's my dog whining over here. He's a sweetheart, but he's making noise and I don't want to hear it. Okay, so then at 5 p.m., from 5 p.m. till 7 p.m., reading and writing again. That's his second work block. So this is serious reading and writing again, just like he was doing from 9 to 1. But this is a 2-hour block. Then at 7 p.m., it's time for supper. 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. is supper. He's always in bed by 11. He said there's no reason an adult man should ever be up past 11. So we've got that block from 8 p.m. to 11. This is usually where he did his socializing with other people, including his membership in the Inklings, where he would drink beer or cider and talk with people about, like J.R.R. Tolkien, and what they were writing and what they were thinking about fantasy writing. So this is a schedule. When I looked at it, I thought, okay, I can do this. I'm going to bed at 11 o'clock every night. I'm getting up around 7:30 in the morning so that I can be at the breakfast table by 8. That's a reasonable amount of sleep for most people. There's a nap time already built in there. There's plenty of work time built in there for me to read. Started trying to live by this lifestyle on June the 1st, and I managed to pull it off on June 1st. I was right on schedule. Since then, I haven't been able to stay on schedule. I've gotten really sleepy and had to sleep more than it said on the recommended schedule. But I'm going to try to ease my way back into the schedule. The other thing is I get a lot of phone calls and I get a lot of text messages, and that's been tough for me to manage, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to manage it. I imagine C.S. Lewis didn't have a cell phone, but if he did, he probably had techniques for if he did have one, he probably would have techniques for managing his time that included that were a lot more disciplined than mine are. So it may be time for me to reread Digital Minimalism by Cal Newport. At any rate, this is my first video about C.S. Lewis's daily schedule and trying to live by that schedule. At the end of the month, I'm going to let you know how the month went, since I will have spent a month trying to live by that schedule. And I hope that was of interest to you. It was of interest to me. I'm always interested in how famous people live their lives. And frankly, this sounded like a really pleasant way to live out your days. So that's it for this video. I want to thank you for watching. I want to ask you, please, stay sexy, folks, and stay hydrated. It's important, more important than you probably think.